Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts, and in today's video we're going to be making this flip top box with a curved front. You don't need any specialty dies to make it, but you will need to be able to make a circle. And you can make this as wide or as tall as you need to suit your particular gift. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm starting with two circles which are 3 5/8 in diameter. I'm going to take my pencil and ruler. I'm going to line the ruler up with the outer left hand edge of the circle and move the ruler until it reaches the distance I want for my box, which in my case is 3.5 inches. I'm then going to draw a line across with my pencil. Do that on both pieces, and again you can make these any size as wide as you need, and I'm going to use my trimmer and trim off that excess. We're going to work on the box base first, and we'll need a back panel and a front panel. For the back panel I've got a piece which is 4.5 by 4.5. Along one 4.5 inch side, score at half and 4, rotate, and on the second side score at half. I've got a box which is 4 inches high, so this gives me my side panel, my glue tabs either side, and my base glue tab. Fold and burnish. Cut away the bottom left and right hand squares and cut a wedge from each of the glue tabs. We're now going to create the front panel, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know what I like to do is take a scrap piece of paper or card, line it up with the edge, and then wrap it around the arc, and then mark the other end with a pencil, and that's going to give me the length of cardstock I need to create the front. For the front panel, I've cut a piece of card which is 6 3/4 by 4.5, and along the 4.5 inch side score at 1/2 inch. Fold and burnish. Do add a slight curve to the piece of cardstock and then cut your teeth into the 1/2 inch glue tab. I'm going to take my back panel, add glue to the bottom tab and add it to the top of the base. I'm then going to add glue to the side glue tab of the back panel and add on my front panel, and then add glue to the serrated teeth and to start to adhere it to the base section. There's no right or wrong order to construct this. You might want to add your front panel first and then the back panel on. You'll end up with the same basis and it won't affect anything. So I'm wrapping the piece around, and as it starts to get into shape, I'm pushing the teeth down along the edge of the base, and then when I get to the end, I'm going to add on glue to the last glue tab of the back panel, tuck the serrated teeth under and secure that into place. So that's the base of our box, and I can now go in and burnish down the tabs. Once that's dry, if I do feel that there's any overhang, I can just go in with my scissors and just trim round and get that into shape. We're now going to create the lid, and we're going to create it in basically the same way. The lid will be joined by a hinge which is going to sit inside the back and then on the underside of the lid. The lid's going to sit on the top like so, and then a lip is going to run around the outside of the box base. If you're going to be adding multiple layers to your front and they're going to be right up to the top edge, you may want to add the decorative pieces to the outside first and then calculate the length of the strip that you're going to need for your lip, because the lid needs to be able to come over and you need to take into account the additional pieces of cardstock. For my lip, I've cut a piece which is 6 7/8 by 1.5, and along the short side I'm going to score at half. and I've just cut it that little bit longer just to allow for it sitting around the outside of the box. Fold and burnish the score line. I'm going to add a slight curve with my score tool and then cut my teeth into the 1/2 inch glue tab. Once they're all cut, fold over the teeth, sit my lip around the outside of the box, make sure it's the right length. I'm going to hold the piece in the shape, add glue to the glue tabs, and then sit the lid on top. I don't want to make the lid independently and then find that it's too small. I'm going to add the lid piece on, and once that's in place, I can go in, push in the teeth, push the teeth in, slot it back on and make sure it still fits, and then go in and burnish the teeth down. So that's going to sit on top of the base like so, and that does fit on nicely. I'm going to add the two pieces together. So I have a hinge which is 3.5 times 1 inch, and I'm going to score along the 1 inch side at 1/2 inch. Fold and burnish along the score line, and do fold and burnish in both directions. Add glue to one of the inside edges and sit that to the back of the box on the inside. And you want to make sure that your score line is just sitting just above the top edge of the box, and that your hinge can move freely. Fold your hinge forward and just make sure that your tab that's left is not sitting over the outside of the box and is not going to catch. Add glue to the top part of the hinge, sit the lid into place just above the score line, and before you press it down too far, double check that the lid shuts and slots down over the top of the box. If you find your lid is a bit springy, go in and burnish down the score line on the hinge, and you'll also find the more layers you add to the top of the lid, the more that's going to help that sit into place. You could also, if you want, add some sort of closure mechanism to keep the lid down over the front of the base. I'm now going to go ahead and decorate my box. Here's the finished box. I've added some 2 layers of decorative paper onto the top, as band around the lip, a band around the front, and a panel on the back. And I've also added 2 extra pieces on the inside of the lid and the base to cover the serrated teeth. And the lid opens and closes very easily. I think that moving forward I'm going to add something into the middle, and I'll decide what that's going to be once I've decided what the box is for. But it's a very easily adaptable box. You can easily change the height, change the width depending on the circle you use, and there's nothing too complicated in the construction method. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and until next time, thanks for watching.